Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. For this week, we are going to proceed with our chapter 6. And before that, kita mulakan dengan bacaan umul kitab Al-Fatihah. Okay, so chapter 6 is about the data design concepts. Okay, so mainly it is about data. And for the contents, okay, so for the contents, I divided the contents. Okay, kita ada 9 sub-contents. Okay, so we have the data design concepts, DBMS components, and also web-based database design. Okay, in which I included under one subtopic. Okay, and then the data design terminology, data relationship, and also the data normalization is under the second subtopic. And the final one is about the database models, data storage, and also the data controls. Okay, so the first and the second is covered dalam part 1. Okay, and the third subtopic will be covered under the part 2. Alright, and basically about the data design terminology, data relationship, and also normalizations, okay, you have already learned in your ITS 232. So basically, I won't cover so detailed about these topics, okay, since you already learned about it. But in order to refresh your mind, I have supported you with the links from the YouTube channels, okay, so that you can refresh your minds about the normalization especially, as well as the relationship and also the terminology of the data. Okay, so we first go to the first part, okay, so it is actually the data design concepts, alright. So a system analyst must understand the basic data design concepts, including the data structures and the evolution of the relational database model. So what is actually a data structure? So it is actually a framework to organize, to store, and also to manage the data. And that's why in order for you to organize, to store, and also to manage the data, you need to have the tables or files that contains data about your entities. Your entities can be people, your entities can be places, your entities can be things, or your entities can be events. Alright? Okay. The older data structures, okay, we call as file oriented. Okay, so when it comes to the file oriented, okay, you must know that it is the manual method. Okay, manual method of filing system in which all the data about the projects, about the clients, about the tasks, about the products are maintained using different manual folders. So these manual folders will label and stored in one or more cabinets. Okay, so usually they have the some sort like bilik store. Okay, so they are going to put all the files, the manual files in that particular store. Okay, and then when required, the concerned person in the organization used to search for a specific folder or file serially. Okay, so basically, usually bila kita ada bilik file tu, selalunya dia tak boleh orang sebarangan yang ada akses kepada bilik file tu, okay? Only certain people are allowed to go into that file room and get that file, okay? So itu yang dikatakan sebagai the concerned person, okay? He or she is the one yang authorized untuk nak masuk bilik file tu and retrieve that manual file. Okay. So when it comes to the data structures, okay, this apa yang kita panggil sebagai data structures lah, okay. So we have the shop operation system, okay. These are the tables, okay. The tables holds the data about the mechanic and also the job, And you can see here that between the tables, they have the relationship. Bermaksud, if you design or if you develop a system with tables that are not related, you tak ada pun the relationship among the tables, that is not what we call as the data structures. Okay, so you have to make sure the tables are linked together using the relationship that you have already learned in ITS 232. Apa dia punya relationship dia? One to one, one to many, many to many. Okay, so that's all the relationships. Okay, so even though we are moving towards the database management system, online platform, is it file processing still important? Okay, so some companies still use this method to handle the large volumes of structured data, okay, because of usually the older legacy systems, okay, they need to have, they process lots of data and sometimes they need to have a batch input. Batch input ni faham tak? Batch input ni ialah kemasukan data ataupun pemprosesan data tu dia akan dilakukan secara by batch. Macam you all kan, okay, you ada batch you all. So, sama juga dengan batch input means dia dah ada dia punya certain masa. Okay, so this batch of input will be processed every Monday pukul 6 pagi, for example. Okay, macam tu. Okay, and then from the file processing, from the filing method, from the manual method comes the database management system. Okay, and the popular database management system is the Microsoft Access. Okay, ni yang biasalah. And then you have already learned last semester IBM DB2, and for this semester ialah MySQL. Okay, so database management system is actually a collection of tools, features, interfaces, okay, that enables the users to add, to update, to manage, to access, and also to analyze the data. Okay, so here are some of the advantages of database management system. Okay, in terms of the scalability means once you have the database management system, it can be easily expanded, modified, downsized to meet the changing needs of the business enterprise. Okay, another advantage might be the economy of scale, so that using the database management system will allow for better utilization of hardware. The third advantage is enterprise-wide application, okay, because usually database management system is managed by a person called DBA. Okay, so DBA is the database administrator. So he is the one who have all the access towards the overall requirements and also maintains the database for the benefit of the entire organization rather than only for a single department. Okay, so these are another advantages of DBMS, okay, stronger standards, better security, and also data independence. Okay, so even though the trend is towards enterprise-wide database design, many companies still use a combination of centralized DBMS and smaller department level database system. Okay, so among the reason maybe because of in order for the company to manage and also to manipulate only using the DBMS, it will be highly complex and expensive to maintain. Okay, sometimes there are companies yang macam small companies kan, okay, so in order for these small companies untuk nak adopt ataupun untuk dia nak implement betul-betul the whole DBMS mungkin susah because of staff, kepakaran staff dekat dalam company tu limited, okay, and because of they are the small companies, mungkin dia ada limited budget, okay, so it relates dengan masalah-masalah begitu. Okay, so the next part kita pergi kepada the database components, alright, so database components ada 4. The interfaces for the users, database administrator and related systems, data manipulation language, schema and subschema, and the fourth one is physical data repository. Okay, so when it comes to the interfaces for users, database administrator and related system, okay, so basically the users will define the queries, switchboards, commands, and also use of the query languages to access the stored data. So cara untuk dia nak define the queries tu ialah dengan cara query language ataupun query by example ataupun yang selalu kita gunakan is the structured query language. Okay, and then we have the DBA, okay, the one that we have already came across just now. Okay, DBA is responsible for the DBMS management and support. So usually because of it is support and also the management, okay, they are concerned with the security and integrity of the data, preventing any unauthorized access, okay, providing backup and recovery audit trails, maintain the database and also supporting the user needs. Okay, so basically the database administrator is about the supporting and also the management. Okay, so berbeza dengan the roles of the users tadi. The users are the one who create or the one that relates dengan the queries. And then we have the related information system. Okay, so a DBMS can support several related information systems that provide input to and required specific data from the DBMS. So no human intervention is required for two-way communication between the DBMS and the related system. Ni basically system ke system lah. Okay, so we do not need any human intervention between the system and also system. Okay, so the second component is about the data manipulation language. Okay, so in IPS 232, okay, secara tak langsung actually you have came across about the data manipulation language. Contohnya apa? Okay, if we look here at this figure, okay, you can see ada perkataan update, ada perkataan get date, ada perkataan delete. So these are all the data manipulation language yang mana you use to store the data, to retrieve, to update and also to delete the data. Okay, the third component is about schema. Schema is actually you want to set the privilege or you want to set the permission. For example, you have three types of users, okay? You have the student, you have the lecturer, and also you have the academic unit, okay, HEA. Alright, so you are going to identify or you are going to determine the subschema for each type of person ni tadi. Kan? Bermaksud, you are going to define the access level for each of the role. For instance, the student hanya boleh view sahaja, for example. Okay, pensyarah boleh view dan boleh add. Academic unit boleh view, boleh add dan juga boleh delete. For instance, okay. So, for DBMS, okay, they have the schema as a whole. Okay. So it is the complete definition of the database, alright? So it will include all the fields, all the tables, all the relationship, okay? And then under the schema, you can have one subschema or you can have more than one subschema, okay? So it is actually the view of the database used by one or more systems or user. So kalau awak nampak dekat sini, okay, subschema A ni, alright? Dia khusus untuk user A sahaja. Means the access level, the privilege, the permission is only for user jenis yang pertama. Okay. And then subschema B, alright, untuk subschema B dikhususkan untuk user 2 and also user 3. So that's why it provides you with an example, okay. specific users, specific systems might be permitted to create, retrieve, update or delete data depending on their needs, depending on their roles, okay, and also depending on the security policies of the company. Okay, and the last component is about the physical data repository. Okay, so the data dictionary is usually being transformed into a physical data repository. Okay, so the data repository contains the schema and subschema that we have discussed earlier. Okay, so the physical repository might be centralized or distributed. Okay, so usually they are going to have the connectivity. Okay, and the most common connectivity is about the ODBC and also JDBC. So ODBC is the Open Database Connectivity. Okay, it is an industry standard protocol. And then using this ODBC, it is possible for software from different vendors to interact and also to exchange the data. Whereas for the JDBC, it involves the Java database connectivity. So that is the difference between ODBC and also JDBC. So J usually stands for, J memang stands for Java enable ataupun Java compliant. Okay. The next subtopic we have the web-based data design. Right? Okay, because of our systems, the trend of the system nowadays is more towards the online platform, online system, mobile platform, mobile apps. Okay, so what we should do with ataupun how are you going to develop your database when it comes to developing the online platform? Okay. Alright, so in terms of the overview of the web-based data design, usually it will involve the internet. So internet serves as the front end or the interface for the database management system. Okay, so access to the database requires only a web browser and internet connection. And also web-based systems are popular because they offer ease of access, cost effectiveness, and also yang paling penting ialah worldwide connectivity. Okay, so these are all the characteristics of the web-based data design. Okay, because of it uses the internet, so it will have the global access. Okay. Ease of use, okay, using the web browsers will provide a familiar interface. And then multiple platforms, okay, not dependent on specific combination of hardware or software, cost effectiveness, security issues, and also about the adaptability issues. Okay. So, to access data in a web-based system, the database must be connected to the internet or intranet. So, ini dia punya syarat lah. Okay. So, however, since the database and the internet speaks two different languages, thus databases are created and managed by using languages and commands that have nothing to do with the HTML. Alright. Okay. So, what is the solution? Okay, you are going to develop a database for a website, okay, or a database for an online system, okay, but the online platform and the database speaks two different languages. Okay, so the solution is you need to use the middleware. Okay, so the middleware will interpret the client request in HTML and translate the request into the commands that the database can execute. Okay, so middleware ni ialah orang tengah lah. So if you see here, okay, we have the client web workstation, okay, and using the internet or intranet, they are going to use the middleware sebagai orang tengah, so that it will have the transfer between the database server and also the web server, and then daripada web server ni pergi kepada the client workstation. So dia adalah the first step is the client will request for a web page, okay, and then using the middleware from the web server, okay, the web server submits the query to database server. So the database server submits the retrieve data to the web server, okay, and then pergi kepada web server, and finally the web server submits the web page to the client. So the solution is the middleware in the middle between the database server and also the web server. Okay. So how about the security? Okay. So the web-based data must be secure yet easily accessible to authorized users. Okay. So to achieve this goal, the well-designed system provides security at 3 levels: the database itself, the web server, and the third one is the telecommunication links. Okay, so we have finished the first 3 subtopics, okay, like the one that I have explained kat depan tadi. Okay, so we have covered the data design concept, DBMS components, and also the web-based database design. Okay, so for the second part 2, okay, I have provided you with the links to the YouTube channel. Okay, so basically all these channels relates to the data design terms. Okay, so what are the data design terms that you can still remember? Okay, so antaranya ialah fill, antaranya ialah record, antaranya ialah primary key, antaranya ialah apa lagi foreign key. Okay, so itu ialah antara di data design terms. Okay, and then these are the links, okay, to draw the entity relationship diagrams, and this is the links to guide you or to refresh your minds regarding the data normalization from the 1 normal form until the 3rd normal form. Okay, and I end up my slides, okay, ataupun I end up my video with a case study. Alright, so because after this, for your final test, the type of question that will be asked most probably dalam case study. So these are the samples of case study that you can do as your maksudnya as your preparation for your final test and also to sharpen your knowledge. Okay, you may discuss with your respective lecturers. Okay, they are going to guide you on how are you going to explain about the explain or answer the questions. Okay, so the first part for this chapter 6 ends here. Kita sudahi dengan bacaan tasbih kafarah dan surah Al-As. Okay, thank you.